Oh,
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you
happy
are.
day.
I'm now sitting here talking to Carolyn Street-Johns, who's the editor of half a dozen books about anxiety, fear, and different emotions, and how we can get our life together. She started editing, co-editing with other people, a Toastmasters book for District 80, which is the Singapore area, called Mutton Soup for the Soul. And that book dealt with ambition, courage, discovery, excellence, friendship, and leadership. And her series of books now consists of anxiety, sadness, anger, fear, and other subjects. And I now want to talk to Carolyn about NLP and how this applies to coping with one or more of the subjects of these books. Over to you, Carolyn.
Right, well, a wonderful, in NLP we call them processes, okay? So one of the wonderful processes that is my go-to, if you like. I have two go-tos, and I'll tell you about one first. It's called chaining anchors. Chaining anchors, so let's, for ease of explanation, we'll say we need 5 colors, right? One color that represents your state at its very, well, at your very least effective, if you like, right? So if you are in a state of fear, yeah, and you want to get to a state of confidence to do something like public speaking, for example, but you're really afraid, really scared, okay? What color would represent that state for you? So most people would say, oh, it's a brown, it's a horrible, nasty, pooey, horrible color. You know, it might be khaki for some people. That's usually a color where they're least in their power, for example, where they're powerless, most powerless. And so we put like something that's that color down on the floor, right? And then we find a color that's slightly more conducive, still not sort of neutral, but if you're still in a disempowered state, but it's not as disempowered as the most disempowered state. So it's in between, you know, totally disempowered, unable to move, and neutral, right? So you put that bean bag or something of that color, whatever item it might be. With children, I use stuffed toys. And then you choose a color for neutral. So you're neither empowered nor disempowered. You're sort of neither one or the other. Yeah, you're ambivalent towards what it is that you're thinking about doing. And that usually for people is a very sort of a primary color. It's a bit like, you know, it could be like a black or white or a gray, okay? And then the positive, right, you're becoming more positive now, and you choose a color which is in between neutral and completely empowered, right, which might be a light blue for some people. And then your color, it could be a color green that is go, I'm fully empowered and ready, and you know, I have all the courage and all the resources and everything I need to actually do this deed, which not so long ago was terrifying for me. And so it's all about total physical response. So you start off physically standing beside the object, which is your most disempowered state, and you really feel that state. So you feel disempowered, you feel really frightened, you feel scared, and you just take that on as if you're really in that situation yourself. Okay, and it's not pleasant, is it? You know. Now you do this looking forward, right? So looking forward to the next one, and then you take on, you start to speak yourself into that next state, which is less disempowered than the state that you're in now, but still disempowered. Does that make sense? So I'm not terrified anymore. I feel a little less petrified. Maybe I'm scared. So there's, you know, for me, I have a scale. So, you know, the most disempowered state for me is petrified, right? And then you can move to scared, for example. And then you talk yourself into feeling neutral. Actually, I feel neutral about it. I don't feel scared anymore. I feel, you know, like I've got, so with children, you'll give them something as a tool to, it might just be a stone or something that is like a talisman to empower them, right? So in the movie Made in Manhattan, the diplomat, the politician, he always had a paperclip in his pocket as a symbol as something tangible that he could hold on to make him feel more empowered. Now this can be a photograph or something that you like to make you feel like the photograph of your loved one or your family, the reason why you're doing this. And that helps you to move into the neutral state, okay? And then it's chaining your anchors. And so, you know, you're talking yourself in, usually with a coach, to the halfway empowered state. And again, to the last step, which is your most empowered color, which could be a bright emerald green, you know, for go. Bless you. And then you use your body language, you get into the physiology. Physiology is very, very important. I forgot about that. So in the most disempowered state, you'd be all slouchy and you'd be all like, oh, I want you to sit down, lie down, or not move, right? Then you know, do this, you get out of bed in the morning, most days. And then you say to yourself, okay, I can swing my feet off the bed, can I? So I'm semi-reclined and semi-sat up, you know, and then you sit up. So this is another sort of formula for it. And then when you're in this sort of half empowered state, you can say, well, I might as well straighten my shoulders now. And it's all to do with the breathing. And if your head is sort of up and your chest is, you know, people said chest out, didn't they? But you know, if you're aligned, right, and balanced on both your 2 feet, and you're standing up in what in yoga is called mountain pose, then that's your most empowered. Some people like Amy Cuddy say do power poses, which like the Wonder Woman pose, you know, with your hands on your hips. Now that relates to Jin Shin Jitsu. Put your hands on your hips. The hips are where, so I have to explain. The hips are where the origin of the breathing comes in. And when you're breathing properly, you're going to be confident. If you're not breathing properly, it doesn't help you. Right? So breathing properly is the key. The key thing you need to do to be confident. And then you would look up, because in NLP, when you look up, your eye accessing cues, your eyes access the reticular activation system, which brings to you the things that you want. So all these things all combined help you to be in your most empowered state. And it's 8 minutes.
Thank you very much for that, Carolyn.
Does that
and
help?
If anybody wants to read the books include Fear and Us, Anxiety and Us, Authenticity and Us, Sadness and Us, Anxiety and Us, and you can get them on Amazon.com. One of them is on Singapore.com.
Singapore, Amazon. Yeah.
And also you can look for Carolyn Street-Johns on Facebook, or look for me. I'm one of the authors of in two of the books. Thank you very much, Carolyn. That was delightful. Goodbye, everybody. See you again. There are more podcasts of Carolyn that you can listen to.